Does every headline about artificial intelligence send you spiraling for at least a split second? Did you watch Barbie and or Oppenheimer and you left the theater with some big feelings? And have you at least heard about the writers and actors strikes going on in Hollywood right now? Hi, I'm a lowly movie poster designer in Hollywood right now, facing the instability of my job thanks to corporate greed, and also facing the possibility that my field and my dream job will potentially be completely wiped out thanks to AI, and much like in Jurassic Park,
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
but I'm here to pull on some optimistic threads that run through Barbenheimer, the strikes, AI, and hopefully bring you an uplifting message that can help us both see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you read the description on my last video, you would have found my acknowledgement of the lack of AI talk in that video. And to be honest, at the time that I filmed that video, it was before the actor strike. It was before I learned about the entirely AI generated opening sequence to Marvel's Secret Invasion show on Disney+. When I learned about that, it just felt like I hit a brick wall. I mean, here was this show that was literally implementing a tool to replace people in a similar profession to me. And so the video, the speed drawing that I made, kind of felt pointless in the face of that. Here I was telling people that anyone can be an artist when, yeah, you can pull up Midjourney and type in a few words and it'll shit out a masterpiece for you. But there's a video on my channel and I still stand by what I said in it. If you haven't heard about the writers and actors strike in Hollywood, they are protesting as we speak, protesting the use of AI in their line of work. And here I am, again, a little movie poster designer in Hollywood, doing what I can for their cause and just wanting to spread the word about that and put in my 2 cents to hopefully make an uplifting moment out of this. It all starts with Barbenheimer. I procrastinated like every great artist and gave myself only 4 days to make this poster because I wanted to ride that hype train and post that poster on the same day those movies came out, and I only started on the Monday before they came out that week. Good for me. Then, of course, I watched both films in theater and I was surprised by the common theme that I found in both of them, which was death. Now, set aside however you may feel about either of these movies, whether Barbie was too girly for you,
Let's beach off.
or that Christopher Nolan left out details from Oppenheimer's story like how the radioactive fallout affected our own citizens in New Mexico, I just want to focus on 2 scenes in particular. Barbie's ascension scene and Oppenheimer's regret sequence. Now listen, because I'm not an actor and I'm really bad at memorizing stuff and I got a lot to say about these movies, I wrote everything down on my phone. So here we go. Throughout Barbie, the doll is dealing with an existential crisis here and there about death and dying. Her story ultimately comes full circle in one of the scenes near the end of the movie where she meets the creator of Barbie. She meets God. And what follows is an ethereal scene between her and her creator, God, in which she makes a decision to leave Barbie Land and live a human life. All that is to say is that this is a huge metaphor for rebirth, reincarnation, ascension to a higher self, much like Eve eating the forbidden fruit. The real world and its struggles have been revealed to Barbie. Then, much like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, she decides that because of everything she's seen and gone through, she no longer feels that she can ever return to her normal life, her original life, and chooses to carve a new path and lead a new life. And she chooses this despite learning about death and all of the crappy parts about being a human and being a woman. Barbie chooses to embrace all the bad with all the good. And that's part of the human experience too. You gotta roll with the highs and the lows because it's just part of our lives. Then there's Oppenheimer's reflection on humanity and death and dying. And remember, I'm not a historian, so I can only comment on the story that Christopher Nolan chose to present in theaters. The one scene or sequence of scenes that I want to focus on is the dramatic mashup near the end of the film, where we are being tossed between scenes of Oppie being interrogated for his communist ties and his later refusal to help with research on the H-bomb, and scenes of Louis Strauss being all pissed off about his chances at joining the president's cabinet, which he blames Oppie for. There's two bullshit things going on here. First, Strauss is convinced that Oppenheimer has single-handedly turned the scientific community against him, and the interrogators in the other scene are convinced that Oppenheimer has refused to support the H-bomb research because he's some kind of communist spy or something. None of these people ever stop to wonder whether it's really that deep for the guy. If it really goes that deep to conspiracy. Both of these accusations are tied into Oppie's exchange with Einstein that triggered all this hate against him, and in turn, Strauss set the commie interrogation in action. It's then revealed to Strauss that, sorry, he's not the main character, and neither is the US government. There is no plot against Strauss. There is no plot against the US government. Neither of these parties stop to consider whether this is even about them. Oppenheimer is just a guy, just a human who is struggling with his own internal conflicts over the bomb he created and the arms race that he set off. Barbie and Oppenheimer dealt with death in very different ways, showing two very different sides of humanity. And the fact that in the real world we came together and we recognized these similarities and differences and we created the Barbenheimer sensation is, in my opinion, one of the coolest collective creative expressions I've experienced since Harambe. And as much as I was surprised to find how both of these movies dealt with death in some way, I'm equally as surprised that we're also facing death in another way in real life. And I'm circling back to the beginning of this video and talking about the rise of AI, one of the main reasons for the writers and actors strike. Artificial intelligence can be a tool for all of us, for artists, for writers, for actors, for designers like me, and for people in careers outside of creative expression. But right now, AI is being combined with corporate greed, and it's becoming dangerous. It's becoming a threat to the one aspect of humanity, of our society, that separates us from gorillas like Harambe, sorry to say, rest in peace, and that is our art. AI can spit out paintings and scripts and scan actors' faces away in a library of sims, and all of those capabilities are only possible because it's been trained on us, on human painters, on human writers, on human actors. Barbie faced death and accepted it as a part of human life. Oppie had a hand in death and felt the weight of it for the rest of his life. And now we are facing the death of the passions and the talent that brought those characters to life. The rise of AI has us questioning our humanity right now, but the Hollywood strikes are bringing more awareness to this attack. And do you really think an algorithm would have found the humor in Barbenheimer? I doubt it. And I therefore doubt that I'm going to lose my job to a humorless AI. I didn't address AI in my first video because I felt hopeless. But Barbenheimer and the strikes have really helped point me in a new direction. My experience so far tells me that AI is not going to wipe out artists and designers like me because people still want to have conversations about the work. Conversations that you just can't have with a robot, because human beings are the only beings that can understand the human experience of creating art, and therefore we are the only ones who can talk about it with each other. AI can be a tool to better our lives, if we keep it that way. So keep striking. Donate to the funds down in the description below to support the writers and actors' protest against the predatory use of AI. Let's strive to be more like Barbie than Oppie, and let's not let AI be our latest atom bomb.